Hey everybody, I am Scotty J. Welcome back to Rock Titan Live, and woo! As always, do we have an amazing guest with us today. He's the lead singer for one of the most popular rock bands the world over for the last 10 plus years, easily. And not only is he an amazing singer, but he is an actor as well. They just had their 6th studio album come out, The Fandom, tomorrow. So if you haven't checked it out, make sure you go get it. Came out on October 29th, and just absolutely incredible. You know this man by probably a few different names, but Andy Biersack is his name, and he is the front man of Black Veil Brides. What's going on, Andy?
Hey man, happy to be here. Before we go any further, first of all, thank you for the wonderful introduction. I feel really hyped up about myself right now.
Oh, good.
And then the other thing is, I want to comment. You got a Eagles shirt on.
Yes.
Congratulations to your franchise for being one that never won a Super Bowl and then did.
Yes.
And can I ask you a question?
Okay, so you're probably going to beat me to the very first question I was going to ask you, but Andy, fire away.
What does it feel like? Because for anybody who doesn't know, I'm a diehard, lifelong Cincinnati Bengals fan.
Okay.
We are a franchise with no glory, have never had any glory, and very likely, maybe we'll never have any glory. I've always said that if we could win a Super Bowl, I wouldn't care whatever happened again after that. And so you guys won in 2018, correct? So
yes. Yeah.
How quickly did you forget about that and start to get mad about what's happening on the field again? Or
1 year, baby.
Still riding a high?
No.
1 year?
No. Well, Philly might be a little unique, right? And I'm glad you cleared up the whole Bengals fandom, because I was going to ask you, because you've got that beautiful eagle across your chest. So I wasn't sure if perhaps, you might be an Eagles fan, although, again, knowing you're from Cincinnati, that would be the case. But yeah, to answer your question.
There's some connectivity there, though. The eagle tattoo that I have is based on my dad's eagle tattoo, which he got before I was born. He coached my cousin's Pee Wee football team, and they were the Eagles, and they had the old school, like Reggie White era Eagles logo. So in some ways, there is a correlation there.
All right, that's a beautiful thing. But yeah, so you're a big football fan, huh? Big Bengals fan?
Yeah, my whole life I played as a kid, and it's a huge thing. I host the pregame shows in Cincinnati on WBBN, and it's been a huge part of my life. And they haven't won a playoff game, and I'm 30 years old. They haven't won a playoff game in my lifetime, which is its own stigma. Our baseball team, the Reds, have been in a rebuild for about 10 years, and they went to and won the World Series 2 months before I was born, and then have not won a playoff game either in my life. So we're just killing it. My fandom of sports is based entirely on misery and a lack of hope, and I don't know why I continue on, but here I am.
And that must figure into a lot of your music, right? You're able to channel that
Sure.
misery from being a Cincinnati sports fan, and it goes right into your music. You know what? If I were to become a musician myself, I'm sure that many of my lyrics would be based on the pain and misery of being a Philadelphia fan. And all you Philadelphia fans know it, even though we won a World Series back in 2008, and then we won the Super Bowl in 2018. But yeah, Andy, like you said, man, now Philly's a different animal, as I'm sure you're well aware. Our fandom is a little off the rails. But I think in general,
it's great. I love it. I love the energy. Every time I'm in Philadelphia, I was trying to go down to the Mitchell and Ness store, and I just love like all of the energy that people have of the teams. I'm a little envious in that way, but you got to understand, for us in Cincinnati, with the level of bad for as long as it's been, it's shocking. If we always make the joke that if we have a winning record, like that's worthy of making a T-shirt. So like we're ready to celebrate anything that ever happens. It's just that we get so few things to celebrate.
Well, you had to be a little chafed when they got rid of Green. I was kind of shocked about that myself. But you've got hope, because it all starts with a good quarterback. And I would say that you guys probably hadn't had a real legit quarterback. And this, again, it goes back before you were born, but I've followed them for a while. I'm
Boomer
you. But I was going to say Boomer Esiason, So, yeah, but now you got Burrows. The kid looks like he's got some chops.
We got Burrow, we got Jamar Chase, we got Joe Mixon, we got Tyler Boyd. We have a good situation going. We have a winning record. We're second in our division. It's all about to collapse any day, but right now things are going well.
Well, I tell you what. So maybe it is a projection of things to come. The Phantom tomorrow, maybe the Super Bowl tomorrow, as in this year. Maybe you guys get there, but man. So like I was kind of talking about at the opening, you guys are 6 studio albums deep now. That's wild to think about because you're so young. But despite the fact that The Phantom Tomorrow is your 6th studio album, it is actually your third conceptual album, your third concept album, so to speak. So I'm just curious, like, I guess for the audience who has not heard this album yet or seen any of the videos or anything like that, which your videos are awesome, by the way. What were some of the emotions? Because I know that this album was delayed a bit because of COVID and everything like that, and you did a lot of your writing during that time. What were some of the emotions, the feelings, the concept of this album?
Well, it started with the idea of I've always been into comic books and I've always liked origin stories of comic characters. And one that I've never seen, or at least hadn't seen represented in a way that I liked, was the idea of taking somebody who is not heroic and in fact kind of is a shitty person objectively, and then in death they are forced to be a hero. And basically they spend their afterlife having to be a hero to atone for a life spent with no virtue. So that's where it started. And I started writing just this kind of idea of a record centered around the idea of a hero and what is a hero and why do we have these. And then as the year progressed, politically, socially, we started looking at a climate where there was this kind of like an avatarism, where like people that I knew didn't have a personality anymore. Their personality was just this political figure or just this thing, and all their hopes and dreams and ambitions were cast upon somebody who they had never met, didn't know them. They were abandoning family members or whatever for ideas and things that they had read on the internet, or inversely, people were mad at them, or there was all this kind of shit that was based upon the idea of somebody that you don't know means everything to you, but the person next to you means nothing. And we have this cultural thing where, and it's very hard for us to come to terms with. We growing up very rarely give a shit about the person next to us. We care more about the idea of what the person next to us might think about us, even though it's not necessarily bred into us to care directly or to do things for somebody. And so I was very interested in the idea of what do people do to heroes? Invariably, when you have a hero, there's somebody that, I remember a couple years ago, right, that Susan Boyle, the singer who was on that singing competition show, she's an older
Yes.
lady and she
Yes.
came out and
Yes.
she had a beautiful voice, right?
Yep.
I remember the first UK tour that we did was about a year or two after she became ultra famous. And it was this feel good story. She's an incredible singer. She had lived her whole life thinking it wasn't a possibility. We were all really excited. The whole world's really excited for her. I remember being at a grocery store in London and seeing like a National Enquirer type equivalent. And it was just like Susan Boyle's fall from grace, all of the details and blah, blah, blah. And thinking like how cyclical that is, how often we pick people up so that we can have something to tear down. And that's basically where the record was born, is the idea of creating heroes. How long until that hero disappoints you? And then what do you do with that hero after they're disappointed?
I love it, Andy. That's awesome. And I mean, what you talk about, that's really profound, right? Because so many people's heroes, well, I don't know. I don't know that many people, right? But I would say, to your point, a lot of people do kind of idolize, and their heroes are people that they don't actually know. Like, I love it when I hear from like a guy or a girl or whatever that their parents are their heroes, or someone in their family, someone in their immediate life is their hero. Like to me, that's awesome. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
But like you said, so many people's heroes and idols are sports figures, like we talked about, actors, actresses, musicians. So getting to it, because of everything that you just said, clearly you must know the success that you've had as the lead singer of Black, Veil Brides, and your solo work, and now you're doing some acting as well. I mean, you're going to be, if you're not already, which I'm sure you are, there are people that idolize you, that probably look to you as an
Sure.
inspirational figure, as their hero. Do you think about that? And I mean, given what you just
But
said,
it's about segmenting it. It's about
right?
finding ways to idolize or find something in somebody's work or something that they've represented or an idea, and then how you can apply that to yourself. So the message that I've always tried to share is it's more important that rather than idolizing me, you can take something and reflect something that maybe you see in me in yourself and add it to your Rolodex of things that you can have for yourself. For me as a kid growing up, Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley were extremely important to me. Watching their interviews, how they were on stage, how they conducted themselves, you could call them my heroes. But it's really inconsequential to me what Paul Stanley or Gene Simmons does on a Wednesday at lunchtime. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't, it isn't part of what it means anything to me. Their work has meant something and I can take things from it and apply it to myself. Just like when I was a little kid watching Corey Dillon run up and down the field and that's my hero. But
Right.
it's more about what it means rather than who the person is, because again, people inherently like myself, we have flaws, we have things that don't rise to the challenge of herodom. So to take a person and say, that really inspires me, something about you inspires me, I'm gonna try to use that for myself and make myself into what I'd like to be in the world. I think that is the healthiest way to look at it, but I don't fucking know.
No, man, but seriously, this might be one of the most cerebral conversations I've ever had with a musician, man. I love this. This is awesome because I mean, what you talk about and what you sing about, it's really important, especially the world that we live in today, because it's so challenging, especially me being a parent, having younger kids, growing up in this digital age where everything is just so, you talk the veil over everything. I mean, it's just you don't know what to believe, what's real, what isn't real. And again, it's so easy to get caught up and to feel like you're in competition with things that just really don't even matter. But I guess another thing that I'm really curious about for you, because you do have an influence, the position that you're in, you really do have such a powerful influence as an artist. Has any of your fans ever reached out to you to convey their feelings about who you are, what you do? Lost you there for a moment. We're good. I can't hear you now. You're muted. You're on mute.
Sorry about that. Sorry, probably on my end. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. So,
All right.
so I'll just go back to where I was. Because of your status as an artist and as a musician and the influence that you have, over people and your fans and whatnot, has there ever been a fan in particular that conveyed what you meant to them or their feelings in any way in such a fashion that it made you think and made you maybe change anything or do anything different? Like, has anyone ever had a profound effect on you, I guess, as a fan?
Yeah, I think all of this has. The thing about it is when we started touring heavily, I was just about to turn 19. And the median age of our fan base back then, particularly, was, around the same age as me. So I'm on stage espousing these ideas and talking about, how to live your life for all these things. And I'm in most cases a year, 2 years, 3 years older than the people who are, ascribing to the idea. So that, and also being 19, you have no idea who the fuck you are or what you're saying. You're just trying to piece together a personality. I dropped out of high school. No education, nothing. Just going on tour. I'm going to do this. And piecing together my personality of heroes I had or people around me and kind of making this makeshift rock star person. The responsibility that you feel at that point can weigh heavy because you don't want to feel like you're a phony. You don't want to feel like you're just doing this so people will pay attention to you. And through the years, the number of people who have come up to us and told us about things that were in songs that were important and how it inspired them to make something. As I got older and closer to my 30s, the paradigm shift for me was that it became so much less about me and my presentation and my swagger and how cool I am, and so much more about how important this is for me and the audience, the sharing of that moment, the connectivity of that, the feeling that what we're doing when we're on stage is more than just running around in leather pants and sticking my tongue out. Like it is a moment. It's a moment for the people in the audience. It's a moment for me. So that's a responsibility that I've taken over the years much more strongly and has weighed heavy on me. And I think at this point I've been able to come more to terms with what it is I do versus what people take away from it.
Man, that is so awesome and refreshing to hear from an artist as young as yourself, you know? And it's amazing to see how much success you've had in such a short period of time. And kudos to you. Because as I'm sure you're aware, I mean, how many musicians have you been friends with over the years where they're still trying to quote unquote make it, you know, trying to get any kind of
Sure,
recognition? I know numerous artists, you know, that it's like they're still
sure,
plugging along, still trying to get noticed. And here you are, like you said, you know, at I mean, a very young age, you leave Cincinnati, everything you've ever known. You go out to LA, which is a universe unto itself, you know, not necessarily knowing what the future holds, but you have a vision, you have a dream, you've got this passion, you're going for it, and you made it. I mean, like, you know, in terms of what it means to make it, I guess, today, whatever that is, you've had a
sure.
lot of success. And you had it so quickly. Is that something that I guess you've got to feel blessed, first of all? But is that anything where you kind of feel responsibility, almost like pay it forward, pay it back? Do you feel like maybe there's this sense of being a mentor to anyone else? Have you ever kind of put yourself in that situation?
Yeah, I try to. Um, the truth of the matter is, more often than not, when a young band is coming up and they're inspired by you, the last thing they want to admit is that they're inspired by you because a smart band sees other bands as competition. If you're coming up and you go, well, I happen to dress and look exactly like that person, but they're not. My inspiration is somebody from 50 years ago, not that guy. Because it's from a marketing standpoint, it's generally a better move to not directly say that somebody who you feel that you're in direct competition with. So it's a downside when you see a lot of that. But over the years, and as we've gotten older and been around more and more of that has happened where people do come to me and say that they've been inspired directly by the band. And for me, as you said, there is a tremendous amount of luck that is required for this stuff to happen. Yes, there's hard work. Yes, there's dedication. But once all that hard work and dedication is there, there also has to be the intangible thing that occurs that makes you out of the billions of people who are trying to do this one that's selected to get to do it. So the appreciation I have for what that means to have said, I'm going to do this, and everybody laughs at me and says, you can't do it. And then now I've done it for my entire adult life. Obviously you get the moment where you get the vindication, but then you also get the, wow, I'm tremendously lucky and I'll do everything I can to hold on to this and to not let people down for the opportunity that they've given me.
That's awesome, man. So the fan room tomorrow. It's been a long time coming, and you're on tour right now. You know, like we were talking about a little earlier. You are on tour with In This Moment. Absolutely love them, and Dead, near and dear to our heart. Joe Catello, love you, brother. And so, are you playing a lot of the music off your album now? Is that a big part of your set that you're going to be putting on? Is that what your fans can be looking forward to?
Yeah, we're doing 3 songs from the new record right now.
Okay.
As we go along, we'll expand, but we started with just the 2, I think, at the beginning of the tour. And then we did 1 at the beginning of the tour because it was way before the record came out. Then we started 2. Once the record came out, 3, and then we might work in a 4th. But then on the next tour, there'll be a lot more.
All right, all right. Now, music videos, because I know you've already got a few out there right now. Are you looking to do any more music videos off of the Phantom and More?
I'm not sure. I think at this point our main focus is touring.
Okay,
But if we get an opportunity, I would love to. I think that the song "Born Again" would be great to have
right
video.
on,
So
man. Now, speaking of
yeah, we'll
touring,
see.
okay, all right. But like, as far as touring goes, man, like, how relieved do you feel to finally be back in it? Or I guess is that kind of like a double-edged sword? Now, I know your band has already been through, you know, having COVID. You know, some of the guys have already had it. Have you had COVID?
No, thankfully no.
Okay. All right. Good. Good. But
Not yet. Not yet. Knock on wood, right?
right. But so now we're back. How great does it feel to just be back out there in front of your fans live?
Yeah, I mean the weird stuff, the new restrictions and all that stuff. It maybe took a day or two before you just go, okay, this is what it is, and then you're just on tour, and then all the restrictions and the constant testing and all that stuff just becomes part of your day on tour. So for me, I kind of you kind of block out the part that remembers that life before tour was like this, and to me, this is just what tour is. And so anything you got to do to be able to get out there and see the fans and to sing with people. It's everything. That we all did our best with the live streams and doing all that stuff during the pandemic, but there's no replacing a live rock and roll show. It's a unique experience that needs to happen as its own entity.
Yeah, yeah. Now you talk about the streaming offline. I know you're a fan of Dropkick Murphys. Those guys, they were kind of out there in the forefront of doing that. They were pretty solid. They were
Yeah,
pretty solid there, man.
a lot of bands really spearheaded it, and I think all of us who were fortunate enough to do different ones.
Yeah.
It was a cool way to stave off the need to do stuff. But I think at this point we're back. We're ready.
Right on, man. Right on. Well, I know you got to get going. You're very busy, but again, everybody, we are here with Andy Biersack, the front man of Black Veil Brides, and so I got to ask you one thing, because you're a Batman fan, yeah?
Yep.
All right. So we got a new Batman movie that's coming out. So do you have a favorite Batman of all the actors that have played Batman? What do you think of Pattinson, man? Where do you think he's going?
Pattinson looks great. Keaton is my guy, so I'm very excited about him returning in the Flash movie. But I'm looking forward to the Pattinson movie.
Yeah, man, that should be interesting. Oh my God, yeah, no, very cool. Well, again, everybody, right now we have got the Phantom Tomorrow. Came out a couple weeks ago. If you haven't had a chance to go check it out, do it. Buy it. Don't just stream it. Buy it. All right.
However you want to take it in, just please listen to it. However you want.
You know what? You are so humble, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. But again, let's put even more. What's the revenue? Let's put more revenue behind the band so you guys can keep on touring, and doing your thing, making more music.
Much appreciated.
I mean, that's what it's all about, because you've got very positive messages to share with everybody, and just having this short while to get to know you and to talk to you. There's not a lot of people in your position that are out there with this positive aura and energy and everything that you bring to the table. So, Andy, I thank you for that sincerely, man. Seriously. And good luck.
Thanks,
good luck with this album.
This was a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, dude. And congratulations on the success of this album. And, I guess you're going to be breathing some life into this baby for, next couple of years, I guess, before you start writing the next one.
Yeah, we'll see. We've got something cooking right now. So, but yeah, we'll be on tour for this one.
All right, right on. All right. Well, again, everybody, we're here with Black Veil Brides. I am Scotty J. You're watching Rock Titan Live. I forget my own name, man. But it's all good. All right, we're out.